October 31st, 1843. My dearest Alice, for a considerable time your letter was delayed upon its journey, and I confess I began to fear I had, by some misstep of mine, driven you away. In those desolate days my thoughts grew ever more troubled. I succumbed to certain unwholesome habits, seeking solace in spirits and opiates, and my writings took on a darkness that reflected the state of my mind. But then, scarcely a week ago, a most splendid sunrise broke across the horizon, casting the world in hues of gold, and with it arrived your letter. In that moment the gloom lifted and clarity returned to me. How foolish I was to have doubted our friendship, or to imagine you would not, in your own good time, send your words back to me. Your delight in my Valentine's gift warms my heart beyond expression, and I fervently hope you shall soon be able to make passage to me. Though the autumn season brings many storms upon Philadelphia, once they pass I shall be removing myself to Baltimore, where certain business prospects promise to advance my fortunes. With such improvement, I trust I may even assist in securing your safe passage. I do not yet know the direction of my new residence, but I shall write again the moment it is secured. As for Fortunato, he remains in excellent health and continues his habit of presenting me with mice as tokens of his affection. I spend no small amount of effort ushering the creatures back out of the kitchen, yet I cannot fault his intentions. Alice, you cannot imagine how profoundly your letter restored the light to my life. I had sunk into a state of wretchedness, feeling once more that dreadful sense of being alone, a feeling I had not known for some time. Yet, knowing you are at the far end of this correspondence assures me I need never endure such loneliness again. And in due course, may it be soon, I shall have the honour of showing you the streets and sights of my new dwelling in Baltimore. I remain, as ever, your most obedient servant, Edgar. Oh no, for all you Poe fans, we know what fate became of him in Baltimore, don't we? And if you don't, that is where he eventually met his untimely death. Sorry. Anyway, on with the poem. Alone, by Edgar Allan Poe. From childhood's hour I have not been, as others were, I have not seen. As others saw, I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken. My sorrow I could not awaken, my heart to joy at the same tone. And all I loved alone. Then in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill the mystery which binds me still. From the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. And that was Alone, which was written by the 20-year-old Poe. This poem is often regarded autobiographical, left untitled by him. It was published posthumously with this title in the Scribner's Monthly in September 1875. Now, I am sorry to bring you a potentially sticky conclusion to this story with Poe moving to Baltimore, but it is the final poem in this year's Poevember, and his real story was far from sweetness and light. But who knows, I mean, in real life he didn't actually die until 1849, and these letters in this alternate Poeniverse, as I'm calling it, are from 1843, so perhaps next year's Poevember may see a return of Alice and Edgar's correspondence. Maybe Alice is over there in Baltimore with him. We shall see in a year's time. So just to give you some info on the poem alone, it's a brief, deeply introspective poem in which Poe reflects on feeling different from others since childhood. He describes how he never experienced joy, love, or the natural world in the same way as those around him, and instead his emotions and imagination have always been coloured by a stormy inner world. So the poem suggests that this lifelong sense of separateness shaped both his sorrow and his creative vision. And by the end, Poe reveals that dark, mysterious force, something beyond ordinary experience, has always influenced him, leaving him forever set apart from the rest of humanity. So in essence, it's a meditation on isolation, the origins of his melancholy, and how his unique and often troubled inner landscape defines him. So for this last prompt in Poevember, I'm so sad that it's at the end, the prompts are time, sunrise, gold, storms, and autumn. So let's move Steve, Sydney, and Edgar's fire out of the way whilst we, and let's not put it under the letter because that would go on fire. And then it definitely would be the end of Poevember because my book would be burned up. Right, let's stop. This is why my videos aren't designed for children. So let's oh, and don't forget, sorry, just to remind you, I will be doing a full flip through of this whole journal, so last year's as well, at a later date, shortly soon, to another poem read through, so keep an eye out for that. Right, so time, where are we for time? Here we go. Let's see if you can see this page, by the way. So in Alone, Poe presents time as a force that deepens his lifelong sense of separateness. He reflects on his childhood as the root of his difference, suggesting that from an early age he experienced the world through a darker, more solitary lens. And time in the poem doesn't heal or change this, it reveals it. And as he grows, the passing years simply make his inner isolation more visible, showing that this feeling has followed him through every stage of life. And also, were any of you eagle-eyed enough to notice that the, well no, you wouldn't have thought it at the time because I haven't told you what the prompts were yet, but the wax seal that I did today was of a clock. So that also brings in the element of time. So what have we got here? So I've got this young boy, like a young Poe, looking a little bit sad, all on his lonesome here. Can you see a little sad face? Like he looks like he's, you know, trying his best to be a child, but a little bit sad. And behind him here are some old kind of theatre tickets and a tape cassette. So, like, sorry, just okay. Yeah, some old theatre tickets and a tape cassette. That was kind of bringing in my childhood as a reminder of the past. And then in this raven envelope here, I've put the word time, and then I've put this vampire quote, which I felt was quite apt. It says, "The undead did not love, but they remembered love with a savage loyalty," by Kim Harrison. And then inside this envelope pocket, we've got this little tag, which was already in there, so I just left that in there because I thought it was fine where it was. And then this big coffin tag here, and then this sculpture guy has been alone for such a long time that he's starting to grow some mushrooms. But look, there's a little face poking out from behind. Oh, and then there's this spooky murder guy as well. And I've stapled some dark red netting on the top, and on the back I've backed it with this pocket watch paper down the bottom here, and a nighttime bit of paper, and then stuck this clock banner up the top. And then in the back of the page here, you can see the start of the poem and a clock here that I've added in. And then this is a raven page that was here. So that is time. Hopefully you can see it all right on the side of it, it's not too distracting. So let's move on to sunrise. There we go, again, it's on this side of the page. So in Alone, the idea of sunrise represents the beauty and wonder in the world that others can enjoy, but which Poe feels disconnected from. And even bright uplifting moments like dawn fail to comfort him. And instead of bringing hope or renewal, the sunrise highlights his difference, showing that he cannot experience joy in the same way as those around him. So we've got this guy here in front of this burnt orange sort of side pocket. And he's a dapper looking gentleman, but again, he's got a look of lonely sadness about him, even though he is wearing this jaunty hat. It just goes to show that sometimes even a hat won't make you smile. And then I took this file folder from Priscilla's kit with a castle by the sea on it, and the colouring really gives kind of sunrise vibes as a moon in the background, and then the back of it is like still moving slightly into the stormy vibes, but has those orangey sunrise colours. And this isn't a lovely and relaxing and peaceful sunrise, this is a sunrise of doom almost. And then I lined the file folder with some orangey paper, which I'm dropping, skulls there and some feathers there. And then we've got this frame which sits behind it, this gas mask lady, and if you pull it out, there's a skeleton behind there again, all alone. And then down here is an actual sunrise from a picture that I took, like a photo that I took, and then this poem, part of the poem, then in my childhood in the dawn, which kind of stops halfway through the sentence, but instead of where it actually goes, I just put the word alone. So it says, then in my childhood, in the dawn, alone. And that is sunrise. And because I'm not clever enough to put acetate or anything behind it, I can't get the dude back in, that'll do. Right, and then we'll put that here. Now let's see what I've done for gold. Right, on a completely different tangent, Martin Kemp was in Celebrity in the Jungle, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and obviously he was in Spandau Ballet, so when I was doing gold I was just going gold from Spandau Ballet. Sorry if none of you in America know who Spandau Ballet are. Anyway, in Alone, gold symbolises the worldly pleasures, successes and joys that others value and chase. Poe suggests that even these shining, desirable things never moved or motivated him the way they did other people, and gold becomes a symbol of the riches of life that he feels emotionally separated from, reinforcing his lifelong sense of being different in what he could love or take delight in. So in the background here I've used this brown sort of lettered page, but maybe it was originally gold and has now dulled over time. And on top of this Lenore pocket, I've put I put a cog and then I've put gold embossing on it to make it a old and golden cog. And Jupiter's here, he's had a little bit of a glow up, and he's sitting on Lenore's shoulder. Can you see? You can't really see, but I have gilded him. I have gilded Jupiter. And then inside the pocket I've done some kintsugi on this, is that the word? I think so. On this coffin tag with this sculpture dude who is, again, all alone. I've put a bit of poem there, which I've coated in gold sparkly ink. And then I put this golden fabric on top. I really enjoyed doing the kintsugi stuff, it was fun. And then on the back here I've just backed it with this bit of Poe paper, and that looks like these people are just dying alone. That's depressing, isn't it? So it's, and then I've got, and all I loved Alone, and then it ripped, so I also kintsugi'd that. That was an unintentional rip, but I thought that's handy, I can do that again. And I just put that Rolodex page there. So it's a very simple spread with gold touches as the real kind of star of the show there. And now storms. Let's find storms. Here we go. Again, it's on this page, which is hopefully you can see. Now in Alone, the storm reflects the inner turmoil and darkness that have shaped Poe's emotional world since childhood. And while others might be stirred or frightened by dramatic natural forces, Poe suggests that such intense storm-like feelings have always been a part of him, and the storm becomes a symbol of the inner chaos and melancholy that set him apart from those around him. Now I really enjoy how I've kind of layered this page up. It was a bit unintentional, but when I kind of finished and looked back, I was like, oh yeah, I like how it kind of goes in layers like that. So I've got this pocket with "Wandering from the Nightly Shore" written on it, and then under it I've put "The storm still raged." So it says, "Wandering from the nightly shore, the storm still raged." And in the pocket I've made this card. Hopefully it's not stuck in. There we go. I've made this card with this stormy looking picture on it from the kit. It's got this skull face in the background and the clouds. And then on top I've put this Bram Stoker quote: "I am all in a sea of wonders. I doubt, I fear, I think strange things, which I dare not confess to my own soul." Which is kind of like, I don't know why the sea always gives me storm vibes, but it does. And where am I? Then I put this black fabric on the top and the word "quietus" written on, like the calm before the storm. And I've backed it with some Poe book page and this spider scrap paper. And then for the background of this page, just knock some of that off. On the background of this page, I've got this stormy page in the kit with these dark and looming trees, and then I've cut out this castle from another page of the kit and put it like it's inside the stormy clouds, and then put some grave texture paste on it to give it that effect of being within the clouds. And the castle has this lonely looking angel sat by herself, but little does she know that there's this gargoyle plotting over here. And then up in the corner here we've got the bit of the poem that says, "From the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view." And I know that's the end of the poem, and we still got one prompt left, but it felt appropriate to put it there because it was a storm bit of the poem. And then finally, the final prompt of the final poem of the final day of Poevember is autumn. And now in Alone, autumn represents decline, endings, and the melancholy beauty that Poe is drawn to. And while others might see the season's colours as comforting or nostalgic, Poe's connection to autumn reflects his deeper, more sombre way of experiencing the world, and it highlights his affinity for the fading, the quiet, and the sorrowful, reinforcing the poem's themes of emotional separateness. And for this page, the thing which is alone is this single solitary leaf, which is crumbling and decaying. And I don't think it's going to last very long in this book because it keeps falling apart. It was one of the ones that I had tried to Mod Podge, but there's bits of glue kind of holding it together, which has now gone funny colour. Anyway, just makes it look even more decaying and old. And I really like the page that I chose for the spread in this book. It's got like this leaf here in the background. It's got the skull and like a raven in the background here. It is one of Priscilla's kit. Not the kit, but another one of Priscilla's kits. I can't remember. I think it's Autumn. No, I don't think it is Autumn Academia. I don't know which kit it is, sorry. But anyway, I created, so I cut out this pumpkin display with this tree that is stuck in the background here from a bit of scrap paper. And then the same bit of scrap paper on the other side, I had these bats, so I ripped those and turned it into a bit of a side, what's it called? Side tuck. And I used this Raven Cottage tag from the kit for the last page, which I put some red and orange netting on the top to keep those autumnal colours, and then just backed it with some scrap paper. And then I've got the autumn bit of the poem here: "From the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by." And here I've got Lullaby of Leaves, just stuck down there. So that is it, guys. That is Poevember over with for another year. Oh, there they are. Those are my prompts. Let me just move this out of the way, because that's in the way. There we go. So that is Poevember over with for another year, and it's gone by so fast. Can't believe how quickly it's gone, but don't forget, as I said, I will be doing a full flip through whilst reciting another poem that wasn't part of the prompts. I will link in, I'll link my playlist in the description if you missed any, or you want to see last year's, or even just last year's flip through, which I recited the Raven to. But otherwise, I want to say a massive thank you to Priscilla for not only coming up with a brilliant Poevember challenge, but also creating the fantastic kit to use as well, which I've absolutely adored using. All of the little Easter eggs from other Poe works interpreted into very surreal art type, and Priscilla is just an incredible artist, so anytime I can work with her work is a good day for me. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed today's letter, poem and pages. Please leave me a comment with your thoughts, and I'd really appreciate a thumbs up on the video. And if you're not subscribed, please do consider hitting that button. I will be back soon with something else, but in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your day and happy Poevember. Bye.